So I want to go back to when you Pastor Megan met and started dating, because one of the questions I had written down for you is, how should we be dating? So how did you and maybe Pastor Megan, how was your dating relationship? How did you do that? Is there any tips that you can give us singles on a way that we should be dating that is like maybe biblically sound?
It's interesting because, you know, you have the term dating and then you have the term courtship.
Yes.
And so some people, we use the term dating when Megan and I were dating. It was just dating. It wasn't so much courtship. I think both of us, if we can go back and do it, we would have taken more of the courtship approach. But again, that's a whole nother subject in itself, because people have their different philosophies on that. However, though, when it comes to dating, biblical, and this is just kind of things I've learned even from the School of Hard Knocks, is it's always better to develop friendships first. You develop friendships with the opposite sex. You want to get to know the person in a non-sexual way. Now, non-sexual way obviously doesn't just mean, you know, doing the big deed, but non-sexual way would be just being in a relationship to where it's not physical. Because unfortunately, when you're in a relationship and it's just all physical, that's when things get clouded. Because now you're not able to see clearly if this is really the person I'm supposed to be with, because the Bible calls them, or there's a term we use in the church, it's called soul ties. And so you start developing soul ties with an individual when you're, you know, kissing and making out and doing those different types of things. The Bible says not to awaken love before it's time. And so, and here's the deal. If a person has done that, is it the unpardonable sin? No, it's not. There's forgiveness if you've done that, if you've blown it, if you've messed up, if you've had sex before marriage, if you've been in those types of things. But the goal is to learn from it so you don't repeat that pattern again. And so, Megan and I had we had a good relationship, you know, obviously talking, getting to know each other. We had a short season. I know several friends of mine that had short seasons to where like we just knew it was God. And it goes back to what Paul says, it's better to marry than to burn with passion. So I personally do not believe in long engagements. I think when you are engaged for a long period of time, you set yourself up for a fall. Because really the purpose of engagement is not to figure out if I'm gonna marry this person. The purpose of engagement is to prepare for the wedding.
So while you're building the friendship, that is when we should be figuring that out.
Exactly. That's exactly what should be happening. It's during the friendship stage. It's during that, okay, things evolve. You're more than friends. We'll just use the term, you know, dating a boyfriend or girlfriend. But in that stage, you should already have that figured out. I don't understand people being engaged for 2 years. Like, I don't understand that. That's a long time to be engaged. It doesn't take 2 years to plan a wedding. But some people may say, well, you know, I'm trying to get my finances in order. Well, to be very frank and honest, you should have had your money in order before you proposed. That's just real talk. Don't do a proposal if you're not ready to, you know, take on the responsibility of being a husband. And that's what we're seeing these days is people are putting the cart before the horse. Here's something else that I want to add as far as dating. This is something that Megan and I did do. And I do encourage people to do this, whether you call it dating or courtship. But it is essential, really, I'm just going to say during the friendship stage, and even as you get more serious, to know the other person's personal philosophies in every area of their life. You need to know their personal philosophies.
Because I was going to ask you what type of questions should we be asking.
These are
go ahead.
Personal philosophies in the areas of spirituality, sexuality, money, communication, family relationships, and past relationships.
Listen, I'm gonna have to rewind my
I need to say that again. I'll say it again.
Go ahead.
So
Say it
in the areas of, but this is where a lot of people don't talk about this stuff.
Yes.
They don't talk about spiritual questions. They don't talk about sexuality. They don't talk about money or communication, family relationships, or past relationships. They just marry a pretty face. But one of the things that our pastor taught us is that you don't marry a pretty face, you marry a belief system. And so I heard one pastor say this a long time ago, and it cracked me up, but it's the truth. He said, you need to know how that person reacts when they're mad. When you're dating, when you're trying to get to know them, you got to know, do they throw pots and pans when they get mad?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to know that, so then you can make a logical decision on, okay, do I want to marry him?
Yeah.
I know we've been together for about, 6 months, let's say a year and a half, and now he gets mad and he's throwing pots and pans across the house. If he's doing that while you're dating, he will do that after you get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's facts.
It's facts. That's logical. I love it. Listen, I made a note to go back and take your personal philosophy down and chop that up as even a 5-minute episode for my YouTube and my podcast teas and everything. So that was at 30 minutes in. If you missed it, you want to come.
And there is a book that I would recommend, and I'm actually, while we're talking, I'm just going to look it up here.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem.